Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
Side of your mind, but please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the 2012 horror film called The Pact. And The Pact was directed by Nicholas McCarthy and stars Caity Lotz as Annie, who's trying to find out what happened to her missing sister. Her mother has recently died. They're sort of estranged from each other. But something's a bit weird about the house, and so her sister Nicole disappears, so her daughter is left alone. So it's kind of left on Nicole to carry the burden of how their mother treated them in the past and come to some kind of closure with that. And like I said, also figure out what the hell happened to her sister. So yeah, this is another movie that was in my stack. My literal stack of movies I need to watch by my TV. Slowly chipping away at that, and I'm happy I've been doing more horror movie reviews lately, and that's going to continue. But The Pact is something I picked up while I was in Chicago for the Flashback Horror Weekend back in August. And I was always intrigued by it because I really like Caity Lotz. Of course, like I said, she plays Annie here. Of course, I really like Caity Lotz from Legends of Tomorrow and the whole Arrowverse thing nowadays. But, you know, this was a good few years ago now. And I think she did pretty well here. It seems like her and her sister Nicole in the movie sort of have some kind of different perspectives on their mother who recently passed away. Caity Lotz's character Annie isn't ready to forgive their mother. It's not fully explained or shown what the mother did to her or them, but you know, obviously it's some form of abuse, you know, or something like that, because they both have these awful memories of this closet basically. And then when a former friend of the two, you know, who seems to have some kind of connection to this other side, she sort of sees what happened to the sisters, she's pretty horrified by how awful it was too. So apparently Annie was pretty justified in not just automatically forgiving her mother because she died, but Nicole seemed ready to let it go. But she disappears. She's taken by something again in this house. So what did I think of this movie? I liked it. You know, I actually appreciate a lot of things about it. Like I said, for one, I think Caity Lotz is pretty good in this. I think she has matured as an actor. You know, just naturally, you know, just having more roles over the years. You know, Legends of Tomorrow, among other things. But I think she's pretty good here. She sort of plays that outside member of the family pretty well. You know, we don't really see much interaction between her and her sister, though. We just get kind of a phone call at the beginning. So in a way, it would have been nice, but I understand how I had to have her sister disappear for the story. And I didn't know anything really about this movie's premise. You know, like I said, I had it in my literal stack for a few months now. So I chose not to read the back of it or anything. You know, I just wanted to figure it out all on my own. And it is definitely more of like a mystery, you know, horror film. You know, it's not blood and guts. It's not a slasher or anything like that. You know, now it is similar to some movies we've gotten recently over the years. You know, like my Rick and Morty Funko Pop t-shirt here. Anyway, you know, there's been a lot of like haunting movies and, you know, different things like that. You know, The Conjuring among like how many other films lately. But, this one I think is one of the better ones that I've seen. I never really make a point to watch these kind of movies, but I did like the Conjuring films, and I like this one as well. Because what I really appreciated about it was the care and sort of approach they took to what was going on here. It slowly gives us little pieces to what might be happening at this house, and find out a couple other murders that occurred years ago with a woman named Jennifer Glick, and brother, to their mother, known as Judas. So I like the way those, those little bits of information to what was going on were presented. And the best part of it, though, definitely is the suspense. This is more suspenseful kind of approach they take to the horror. It's not really scary, but there are definitely some parts, especially near the beginning, that definitely creeped me out. Just the way it's shot is really nice, because there's this Judas person wandering around the house, and just the way it's shot at the beginning when we see Nicole first encountering him briefly at the beginning. The way it's shot, we don't really see his face. We just see like this, skinny, lanky, bald figure just sort of standing around, and we just get like brief, fleeting shots of him. I think it actually worked pretty well, and it made it sort of feel pretty intense and sort of just like unsafe. You know what I mean? So I think that actually worked pretty well. When you find out more about him later in the movie, it kind of starts. You kind of start to get a little bit more used to it, so it doesn't, quite. It doesn't really come across quite as effective a little bit later into it once Annie's dealing with him herself. Okay, we're going to get in some spoilers here, so if you haven't watched the movie, click off here. But in conclusion, if you haven't watched the movie, I think it's a good time. I like the suspenseful approach to it. There's definitely some moments of genuine creepiness that I enjoyed. Caity Lotz is pretty good in it. And I like the scenes of bonding we get between her and her niece, her sister's daughter. I don't know if niece is the correct term, excuse me, but yeah, so check it out. But spoilers, even though it's been out for a few years now, so you probably should have seen it by now, but like I said, it turns out that he's not like very, very supernatural. He's basically been living in the house, surviving off of what Nicole or whoever else, their mother has put in to the house in the fridge and everything like that, and he has like these little holes in the walls and everything that he goes through, and he lives in the, not even in the basement, like this, the under the floors basically. So in a way that's a good and bad thing. It's interesting, it's more real in the way that he was actually, he's actually someone, walking around, but at the same time it would have been interesting if he wasn't a supernatural presence that can be explained. But apparently at the end of the movie, we still don't really know, because Annie, she ends up being captured, but she's able to free herself, and she receives some assistance from the spirit of Jennifer Glick, and is able to just narrowly evade Judas at the end and then shoot him in the head, using this investigator's gun, who was killed when he went to the house, who was played by Casper Van Dien, by the way, who did an alright job, but he wasn't really in it much. Then it appears that Annie takes her sister's daughter in at the end, to take care of her herself. Then we see this eye open, and so obviously if he got shot in the head and he's still going around somehow, there's something else about him. I don't know if I've really explained the movie the right way right now, but I think it was a genuinely pretty well done type of horror film for what it was going for. Do I think parts of it could have had more to it? Maybe. Do I think parts of it could have maybe, I don't know, just had like this little more originality, perhaps? It's not very original. We've seen stories like this before, but I enjoyed it, and especially with Caity Lotz's solid performance, I thought it made for actually a very solid experience. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think about The Pact, if you've seen it. There is a sequel to it, which I will probably be watching at some point within the next couple months. I just got to order it. I'm definitely interested. Curious to see how it's going to hold up, once we know everything. So yeah, if I had to rate it, I'm giving it about a B. Part of me wants to give it about maybe a B- at lowest, but I wouldn't go any lower than that. I think it's a very solid, suspenseful, sort of haunting film. And parts of it were genuinely creepy and intense, so I liked it a lot. Or at least, well enough. What's also cool is that I'm going to be going to the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo C2E2 in April, and Caity Lotz is actually going to be there. Of course, I love Ron Legends of Tomorrow. I've been doing reviews on that for a while now this season. But I'm especially excited to meet her now after seeing this, so I have more to talk to her about, so that'll be nice. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.